analyzing the traditional Hakka communities, in Wizhou. So I think that was the presentation is a part of her overall thesis lah. But I think Jojo should start with issues and problems. For example, like when you talk about funerals or any kind of cultural issues, topics, you have to start with the problems. So the presentation is not starting with what is the current issues with that funerals. That makes us queries on the importance of the research. I think that's the one that lacking in the presentation. I think you can improve that for the next presentation. I think you can forward the things in the future. Okay, thank you very much, Joe, for the presentations. We don't have much time to discuss further. I think we can have follow-up meeting after that. Okay, I would like to call the next presenter. I miss out the presenter. Arista, may I know who is the next presenter?
Hi, Professor, it's me.
Oh, Sunchi, yeah, please.
Yeah.
You can start your presentation. The time is yours.
Okay, just wait a moment. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Hello everyone. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to be here for presentation. My name is Sunchi, and I'm going to talk something about the influence of vertical granary system on building thermal performance and energy efficient. And this is my content. The first one is introduction, and as the picture shows that global final energy consumption in buildings will account for 36% of total consumption in 2020, and this shows that the building sector has a huge potential for energy efficiency. And vertical granary system as a passive technology can improve the thermal performance of the building envelope and reduce the need of heating and cooling. And the second one is the methodology. In this paper, peer-reviewed journals were searched in the Web of Science database mainly in the last 5 years, and searched for those keywords such as vertical granary system, ground facade, living wall, building thermal performance, and energy saving. And the third one is vertical granary system. Vertical granary system can be simply defined as a system of growing plants on the walls of a building in order to achieve certain benefits, and depend on construction techniques and features. Vertical granary is divided into ground facade and living wall. Ground facade can be classified into direct ground facade, also called traditional ground facade, and indirect ground facade, also called Dapatkan ground facade. And this is direct ground facade, and the other one is indirect ground facade. Living wall use plants in modular or planting blankets that are fixed vertically to the building surface, allowing the plants to grow off the ground. And depending on the method of application, living wall can be classified as continuous or modular living walls. And this one is continuous living wall, and the other one is modular living wall. The third one is thermal performance and energy efficiency. A study conducted on direct ground facade in Nanjing, and it used two new techniques, thermal infrared and three-dimensional point cloud data. According to them, the daytime surface temperature of the facade were reduced by a maximum of 4.67 degrees Celsius, and 89% of solar radiation were reduced. A study conducted in Nottingham of the UK indicated that the cooling effect of external surface temperature was better on sunny days than on cloudy days. And a study conducted with the same climate as last study set up 3 different sites to conduct the study. The result showed a maximum cooling of the external surface temperature 50.5, 13.9, and 10.5 degrees Celsius during the day, and a warming of 0.9, 1.6, and 0.3 degrees Celsius at night, respectively. They studied 3 different plants and classified the model into simple and complex. The results showed that energy consumption in the complex model increased by 2.8% in both models. Energy consumption in the simple models seldom decreased by 6.5%, and other decreased by 2%. And this is indirect glyphosate. According to this study, cavity thickness and vegetation cover rate can have a significant impact on the performance of glyphosate. They conclude that the best performance is provided when the cavity depth is 0.6 meter and the vegetation cover rate is 30%. However, other study has the same climate type at least as the last one, but it shows that optimal cavity thickness of 0.2 meter significantly reduce the total energy cost. This study did not indicate the plant species used, so this may account for the discrepancy with the result of the previous study. And then the simulation results show that with the best energy saving in the southeast and southwest facade, reduced total energy cost by 13% and 18% respectively. This study focused on the effect of leaf error index. According to their study, a maximum ROI of 4.8 was able to save 54% of cooling consumption in early summer, and 4.4 in later summer ROI able to save 30% of cooling consumption, and 1.7 in autumn ROI increased heating consumption by 5%, and 0.9 in winter ROI increasing heating energy by 5%, and 3.6 in spring ROI increased heating consumption by 12%. This study conducted a comparative study of indirect glyphosate and living walls. In terms of energy consumption in summer, the living wall saved 59%, while at the same time, indirect glyphosate achieved 33% energy saving. In winter, the indirect glyphosate had no impact on energy consumption, while the living wall system achieved a 4% energy savings. In the following year,
2 more minutes.
Hello? Yeah?
2 more minutes.
Okay, thank you. In the following year, 2020, they conduct another experimental study in the summer with thermal loads. The living wall system achieved 27% energy savings, and the indirect glyphosate achieved 16%. And in the summer, without internal thermal load, the living wall system and the indirect glyphosate achieved 50% and 43% energy saving respectively. However, experiments conducted in winter found that both the living wall and the indirect glyphosate increased energy consumption. And this is then its conclusion. The conclusion are as follows. The energy saving effect of different vertical granary system varies. Generally speaking, the effect of living wall system will be better than indirect glyphosate, and the indirect glyphosate will be better than direct glyphosate. But there is one important thing to consider: its cost. Living wall system costs the most, and direct run facades are the lowest. Fewer people in the current research will consider a cost factor in the entire life cycle of the greening system. Therefore, further research should take cost factor into account and comprehensively evaluate the benefit of different types of vertical greenery system in order to obtain better results. Most of current research focused on Asia and Europe. Studies are lacking in regions with more or less solar radiation, such as tropicals, where vertical greenery system may be more effective. Therefore, in the future, research on the cooling and energy-saving effect of vertical greenery system in tropical regions and the heating and energy-saving effect of vertical greenery system in cold regions should be increased. And it's my references. Thank you for your listening. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Sunchi, for the presentations. Any comment from the panel? I remember I examined 2 students in UTHM last year, talking about green wall and green roof. So my question is that you have to see it from the bigger perspective, because sometimes the student, they did simulations. They did simulations, but it has been proven. I mean, what is the end objective of that? I think you must come up with the first is the issues. What is the problem that you want to focus on? Then from there, whatever simulation that you're doing, it should be they call it as a control variables and also dependent or independent variables for that. So how you control that? I think that's important to frame the issues, because like the one that I examined last time is that he was comparing 3 houses. One is without the green space, the green wall. The other one is on with green wall. The last one with green roof. Of course, we can predict based on our literature review that the one with green wall and green roof have less temperatures compared to the one who don't have that. But so what is the issue that you're trying to prove there? I think that's very important things that you need to discuss further lah. So my suggestion at that time is that how about if you change the vegetation, for example, or if you change the type of the buildings. For example, like this one was terrace houses, bungalow, and maybe the other one was apartment. So how was the impact of that? So there now you have a variable to as a result of your experiment. I think that was lacking in some of the research in this field that I found out lah. But it's not my field of expertise. I think we have Dr. Allen here who are expert in this field. So maybe or maybe Dr. Su, you have any question? Please free to ask question. Dr. Allen, Dr. Su, you have any question to the candidate?
Yes, Dr. Lang. Soon, Ki, is this your PhD proposal or your master proposal?
PhD proposal.
PhD, okay. I agree most of the comment by Dr. Nan, because in your PhD study it has to be very in-depth study. It's not just a compilation of documents, because I found out through your presentation is only the documentation, but I don't found out the analysis. What are the factors that give the strong vertical greenery that required for vertical greenery that affect the energy efficient. So maybe because this is maybe good for your as a literature content, but it need to be analyzed. What are the factors? What are the characteristics toward the end of the presentation? Not just summarize what they are, because as I see that most of the cases is a Western country. What happened to the China? So you have to adopt to the journal or the issues in your country rather than looking at others, because it might not be suitable for the country in China. Okay, maybe it's small, but it's a good starter. It's a very good proposal, the proposal, but you have to be more focused where is the area that you want to do, whether it's a southern China or in the middle China or whatever, because this is also affected your greenery area. Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Khairul was asking, raising a hand. Please, Mr. Khairul, any question from your side?
Okay, thank you, Prof. Nakulang. This is very short and very brief and general actually for everyone, especially to all this presenter. I realized that the presentation on the slide preparation is more like a lecture note rather than academic writing, you know, because like academic writing we need to have references, and the references should be stated on the slide. That's one thing. Second, when you state a problem statement, it should be a problem. That's the reason why we call it problem statement. You state the problem. Okay, so many of the presenters just now, what I realized, the problem doesn't sound like a problem. So the problem statement should sound negative. That's second. Third, on the literature review, you have many literature review. It is good, but then what differentiates us as a researcher and also a common writer is the critical judgment on the previous literature. So you have many literature that you referring to. So give and make a critical writing based on that. Okay, and then the flow of research basically need to be highlighted. Like, you know, you have a problem statement. From that problem statement, you state it, and then you try to solve it with your objective. So how you going to achieve your objective via your methodology? So it should be clear. And then what is your expected finding? If this is your proposal, so you should have expected finding. So the flow and the sequence should be, you know, properly aligned. So we, as the viewer, we can understand the whole scenario in glance.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khairul, for the comments, short and precise. I think for everyone here, I know the time is not enough. We only have like 10 minutes for the candidate to present, and actually this one is an openness, yeah? It's introduction for the research, so that I think Sunchi, in the future you can always discuss with Mr. Khairul, yeah, for what are the feedbacks that you would like to develop further. Yeah? Okay, thank you very much, Sunchi, for the presentation. I hope you note down the comments. I think the comment also apply to other candidates also. Okay, we're calling for the next one. The next presenter will be Chenza. Chenza?
Yeah.
You can share your slide. The time is yours.
Can you hear me? You see me?
Yes, I can see you, but I don't see your slide. Can you share your screen?
Just what? Can you see my PowerPoint? Yes, sir.
We see your, yes, now we can see your screen. Okay, please. Can you make it a full screen?
Okay. Just what? Is this okay?
Nothing is happening. Have you make it full screen, Chenza?
Okay, just
But it's okay, you can start if this is the best that you can have. It's okay. I think we can see it.
okay. Yeah, you can see my PowerPoint and on my table. So I will go on.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
And it's my okay. My title of the presentation is the visual perception of the BIPV. So in my presentation, my content will contain 4 parties. The first party would be the background, and it introduces why I do the research. What's I will introduce the reason why I do the research, and why I think it is important. The second one is the research objective. This is just to introduce why. What I want to do in the research, what I want to get from the research. The third party would be the research review. This is this is about the research or the findings from the other peoples. Then the fourth is the methodology. This is share how I would like to do the research. Okay, in the part one. Okay, in the part one, just the background we can see the in the world, the carbon neutralization trend is become popular. For example, we can see whether China or European Union or American, they have their own target for the carbon neutrality. Okay, it's just we will try our best. We will try our best to reduce the production of the CO2, the CO2, and so we will try to improve the sustainable energy. So such as you said, the development of the sustainable energy in these years have get a great improvement or get a great development in the world, such as the wind energy, the water energy, and the solar energy. Okay, so in these days, so in the history from the 1970s from 1917 to right now, the BIPV is the PV modules. We use the sonar. We use the sonar to generate the electricity. We use the sonar to generate the electricity. The history we can see from 1917. The engineers, the architects, and the researchers that put the photovoltaic. This is a material on the facade of the buildings. Put the technology on the buildings, then it can generate the electricity. So we think it's a good measure. It's a good measure to make the world more sustainable. So we can see in the last years the PV modules, such as this part of the building, this wall and this roof, and the roof of the building, and the shading structure of the building. Both of these things are the PV modules. They have a good appearance. And they give people. They have a good appearance, and they also generating the electricity. So it is sustainable. So we think we should make sure that just we do the we will continue the construction in the right way in our urban construction. So, but there is another problem. There are another problems such as this. If we not arrange the PV modules, in a appropriate way, it will cause a lot of problem. It will make you feel it is hard to accept. It will make all the citizens feel it is already hard to accept this things. It will hinder the improvement or the development of the PV modules. So based on this, my research objective would be to find and rank the elements which will affect the visual perception of the PV modules. The second one is to find the appropriate value or level of each elements. Such as if we think the elements, for example, if we think a color or the shape is the most element affect the visual perception, then the value or the level would be, for example, for the color, then it may be contain blue, gray, or green, or red. Which one would be the best choice, or which one would be the most appropriate elements value in the buildings. We want to find or we want to get the answer. And the third one is The third one is after we complete the two targets. Okay, we will use the result. After we get the two results, after we get the answers of the two questions, then we will use the result to do the to construct or to design a framework for the future application of the BIPV, for the future application of PV modules. So this is my research objective. My research objective. After this, I think I have done another. I have connected other research. I have collected other researches, and there's results. There are so many people. There are so many researchers, engineers, and architects do the research on these areas. They want to find the best answer. They want to find the best answer, especially for the PV modules affection on the nanoscale, especially for the PV modules affection on the nanoscale. So it will contain two parts. The research review will contain two parts. The first one would be the elements affect the visual perception of PV. The second one is the measure. So how can they, or how could they find the result? How could they find the result, or the way they use to find the result? So I would like to collect the way from the research.
Kenza, we have 2 more minutes here.
Okay, I will go fast. Okay. This one, so this is the elements affect the visual perception of PV, and then the next one would be the others method for the measure of the visual perception. It will contain weight sum. The second one is the mixed logic. Third one is the visual cue, and the fourth is the sentence mapping. Both of these findings, both of these researchers, they have their own advantages and disadvantages. After we analyze the disadvantages and the advantages, we construct our own way or our own method to do the research. Okay, so in the fourth party, the methodology. Okay, just the framework would be like this. So the first one, we should do the research background, and we define the research objective and the problem. Under this, there will be three cases. For I will list case one as an example. For the case one, we will first do the questionnaire interview and review, and after this steps, we will get the VQ concourses. After we get the VQ concourses, we will choose the appropriate element from the VQ concourse. We get the VQ city one. We get the VQ city. Just we choose the appropriate elements we will use in the experiment. So the VQ cities will contain VQ city one is VQ city 1 to VQ city n. So we choose VQ city 1 as an example. We choose VQ city 1 as an example. For the VQ city 1 elements, we will complete the animation R. Just its animation in the city is animation in the city. After this, we will come to the animation P. We use the software. We use the software with the we use the 3D software to complete the real model of the site, just for the site. And then after we complete the animation P, then we will change the value of the VQ city 1. We will change the value of VQ city 1 to value 1.1 or value 1.n. We will get the different result, just as the animation 1.1, 1.n. We will get the questionnaire, and after all complete this, we will ask inviting the participants and seeing the animations, and after all this, After all these steps, then we will give the result, and we use the result to do the analysis. And after the 3 cases completed, we will do the conclusion. After the conclusion, we will get the suggestions, such as this is the example. For example, this is the residential district. So we analyze the residential. We analyze the residential district. Then we completed the video. We completed the video in the real scene. Okay, in the real scene. Then we stimulated the real scene by computer. This we call this one is animation P. Yes, we call this animation P. After this one, then we will change the proportion. The proportion is the error of BIPV divided the error of the external wall, such as we will get the result negative follows. Just you can see we use the BIPV on these errors, and the second one we use more BIPV, and the third one then more, and the fourth one we will increase slowly. We will increase the quantity of BIPV slowly. And after all this,
sorry, your time is up. I think we have to go for Q&A. Can you conclude the presentation?
Okay. So my research is just that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Insan, for the presentations. Any comment from the panel? I think Mr. Khairul gives some suggestion. I think it's correct. So when you want to write your objective, you can start with we call it Bloom taxonomies. Yeah? Normally, I would suggest my student to start with the basic level, like to identify, the word, it should be measurable. Yeah? Maybe the second layer will be to analyze, yeah? So that it can be measured. So objective should be something that we can measure. Okay. I think the first comment, if I may give some first comments lah. I think the first thing is that you have to be very clear on what is the issues, what is the problem of it. Yeah, for example, you're mentioning very clearly that you want to research on the visual qualities of the solar panels, yeah, the PV there. So, but you need to first to mention what is the problem with our current appearance of our solar panels there. So what is the problem with it? So that is very important, so that you can before you propose something, you need to identify what is the problem with the current appearance of that. I think that require a few parameters. Yeah? When you want to say this one is bad or this one is good, in academic world, it might come up with the specific parameters. So without that parameters, it's very difficult for us to examine that. Okay, that is my first comments lah. Maybe any other comment from anyone here? Dr. Sui, anyone want to give a comment? You can raise your hands. Dr. Sui, you have any question?
Yes, just
Dr. Sui, your one was muted. Sorry, Dr. Sui.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, Professor, you can start first.
Okay.
Yeah. No, just a reminder. When we were looking at the green wall just now, as well as this solar panel with regard to walls and things like that, much of the research is very engineering bias, in the sense of you have a box and then you put up the thing and that's about it. Yeah. The impact on design is something which may have been left out. For instance, if you put any kind of this green wall and all that, then you don't have any visual access, and also the idea of light coming in and things like that. So a lot of these architectural human issues. How do you use, for instance, the wall? For instance, like the green wall just now. So my question here is that much of the designer need to actually look at the architectural design problem. Don't forget about it, because it seems that many of those who are doing this simulation and things like that, they don't seem to put up the idea that when you have the architect having to design, because we have the aesthetic, this sort of thing, then how would you propose to do it? So this element I notice is not there in most of the technological bias thesis. It's simply a reminder, because after all, architecture is a profession of creating experiences, memories, ideas of spaces and things like that within the traditional context of design. And so we must not forget that. I mean, this is just a reminder. It's not a criticism of the methodology and things like that. So with respect to this BIPV, is there a serious issue of a reflection onto the other properties or the passerby? Is that going to be a big issue?
Insan, do you understand the question? Kenzan, you want to comment on that?
Just in my opinion, I think we may use the visual reality to complete the experiment, to inviting the participants to feel the real scene when the building is encrypting the BIPV. So I want to give a real feel of the real scene. So as I said, there are so many research on the efficiency of the BIPV, and I think just as an architect, we may just my own opinion. This is just my own opinion. And we may put more energy or put more energy focus on the appearance of the city or the appearance of the urban, because for in the future the great application of BIPV in the urban or in the city or in the rural, it will be true. It will be, for example, just because if you can think, if a material can generate the electricity, there is no reason the government no choose this one. So it will come into the city. So it will no choice but to go on the road. So the importance of do the research on the surface or on the appearance of the BIPV on the BIPV in the city or in the urban is important. That is okay. That is, and in my opinion, maybe it is some wrong. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Su, you have any maybe question or final comment? Dr. Su, you have to unmute your mic.
Sorry. Okay, I have a question to Chen Zeng, because when you're dealing with the visual perception, I know that you are talking about the people interest. You're not talking about the how many carbon be released or whatnot. So that's why your presentation has misled your aim. Your aim is talking about the perception of the people. It's not about the technology that you want to use. Because where is architecture there? The architecture value. Maybe in your case, if you want to find the people perception, maybe you have a choice for them to choose what is the best. If the case now, because with all the photovoltaic things has been ruined all the architecture elements, so you must give what is the solution so people can choose what to be put in the wall or in the whatever roof of the buildings. Because you are talking about visual perception, you are talking the perception, you are not talking about the simulation things. So this is from my understanding. So you must come up with a good, maybe you give them about 100 or 50 choice to them to choose which is the best for the visual perception on putting that photovoltaic things. Then it become more architecture than scientific things. Okay, thank you. So your aim should be clear.
Okay.
Your objective should be clear there. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think you have received quite good comment, Chen Zan. I mean, for you to improve your research here, also to how you're going to perceive it. Our time is limited, so I think we need to move to the next presenters. Thank you very much, Chen Zan, for the presentation. I would like to invite Mr. Fu for the presentations. Please, Mr. Fu, the time is yours.
Right. Hello. I think Shenzhen need to let me share.
Chen Zan, can you stop sharing your screen?
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Fu.
Let me share my screen. Can you all see this?
I see your screen. Okay, good. You can start, please, Mr. Fu.
All right. Good morning, Prof, and everybody in this seminar. Today, I just would like to share my progress of my master's research. My supervisor is Dr. Hazman. So, as you know, I mean, what I would like to explore is if you listen to this, I would say this proverb: one man's trash is another man's treasure. I think everybody has heard about this before. So the proverb is, what it says is something that one person consider worthless may be considered valuable to somebody. All right. So what my title for my research is to explore, as in exploring the possibility of integrating salvage material as education resource in the higher education institution. So as you know now, everywhere around us there's climate change, and this is a very big issue. So this research is to have one of the solution to reduce this I would say this problem . So what we are looking into is the potential use of reusing material and to integrate this material as education resource . So with this, we could make like a circular economy in the campus environment. Another word they call it is zero waste also. So I'll look into defining the word salvage. So salvage, forage, a lot of people have a lot of words to it. So how do you salvage all this material? So people normally throw the material, and people who needs to use it, you need to salvage, or you need to find or pick it up, and you need to have a way to reuse it over again. So I have some keywords here which I would like to add into my research. So the keywords that I'm looking into is salvaging material, education resource, resource center, higher education, and sustainable campus. So my problem statement is which I'm actually facing now because I take care of the Mac lab. I see a lot of discarded material. A lot of students buy materials, they throw it, but me, I find it a bit wasted. So I collect all the materials. For examples like wood, for examples I bought a lot of things. So, but this is just on our faculty itself, and I believe all this happens among all the other faculties. All right. So my aim is to see if all these materials can be stored and can be put into a resource center, like a hub, where this resource center can provide all the faculty, all the lecturers to integrate all these materials into their, I would say, education or into their teaching resource. So my research question, which I will look into, is how does the current recycling practice is implemented in the university. From there, I will look into what are the relevant materials that can be salvaged and can be used as a teaching material. And after that is the strategy how I would like to propose to the academic staff how to use all these materials, or how they can encourage them to use all these materials. So that from that said, that will goes to my objective, which is implementing all this and to identify and to investigate how to use all these materials. So my research scope is I'll be looking into public university and comparing it with our private university. See how this recycling practice work. From my understanding now, most of this university only does organic waste. They just do composing and all these things. So what I'm more focusing is into the hard and solid waste. It could be wood waste, it could be paper waste, it could be furniture thrown by the faculty or from the office, it could be electronic products and everything related into, I would say, hardware. So this is my methodology. So from there, I have this aim and issue. I'll try to go to this private university and collect data. Data could be from focus group interview, it could be, and also I will look into survey. I'll go there and survey and do some analysis. Okay, next. So at this moment, I have been to this PJ Eco Recycling Plaza in Sungai Way. This one I've personally went there and took some pictures and experienced how this recycling center is. So far, this recycling center, I would say, is full-fledged. They have the facilities, they have a donation center, they have, I would say, even a gallery and exhibition hall. But what they are lacking is it is underutilized. It could be probably the location and all, or the the community there is not aware. So this is where I will look into further later on to do more surveys and interview. The other case study is I would say I'll do online case studies which will be probably in my literature review later. Is to find what is happening overseas. So I found this case study which is called Gold Mine, located in Denmark. It's actually a recycle center, but it has also all these facilities. So from here, what I understand, right, is most of these recycling centers are, I would say, underutilized. So what if there is this recycle center or this hub, I would say this resource center, located in the university? Because the university itself acts as a small community. We have students, we have people doing all the daily activities here. I believe there will be enough, or I would say, materials and enough support from there to run this whole resource center. So I've also came out with a diagram, a small little diagram, as you can see here, where discarded material or donation from the community, as in, for example, if we are in Cheras, probably our Cheras community will want to find a place to, to throw or discard or donate things, so they could come to this recycle center. So there will be a collection point, there will be a sorting area. This sorting area is important to sort which goes to where, whether the item is can be distributed, so to be used for which faculty. So, and
Mr. Fu, 1 more minute here.
Oh, sorry, okay. And I believe with this resource center, we get a lot of faculty promoting or helping to sustain this whole resource center, like how our scholarship, I would say our student scholarship program would use to help this whole resource center to move forward. Okay, so I will share you the examples, like maybe what materials could be integrated into the education curriculum. For example, plastics can be reprocessed and made into alternative products. Management costs can use this, I would say, this resource center as a platform for them to learn how to run the whole business, or even the social science can take care of the the second-hand shop. So it actually, this whole, I would say, the resource center helps the whole university, like the whole program. Okay, so the conclusion is, I would say, so that this whole, there's three things that I look into. The relevant materials such as, I would say, plastic, fabric, electronic components, it actually helps the students and even the lecturers to cultivate creativity and to have them try to figure out how to use it. So it cultivate creativity and also help in the sustainable living. The second thing is this could be a potential platform to connect and unify the students from each other programs, or each other, I would say, cross-disciplinary together. So they will share resources and also help minimize, cost of projects, because now cost of living is very expensive. And the third one, I would say, it is also a good marketing tool for the university and also helps to achieve the SDG goals for the university. So these are some of my reference at the moment. It's still work in progress. I have done a table of content which I have discussed with my my supervisor. He has helped me out a lot on how to, I would say, structure my whole thesis and my research, which is still a work in progress, and what I should do. My timeline. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fu, for the presentation. Very interesting topics. I think for this presentation, I mean for the publication, you can pick up a part of your research as a part of the papers that you can propose. For example, like case studies that you have visited through, in the PJ one. You can explain that little bit. That can be one whole papers by itself, just on that. So I think to make it more specific for your publication later on, because there's a requirement for the publications, for your submission later on. Okay, any comments from the audience here?
Yes,
Prof.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. Very interesting topic. I'm going to help you graduate.
Oh, thank you.
Perhaps you could limit the scope to looking at how the architecture faculties or department use the materials from the models from several schools of architecture, rather than looking at. I think the way that you frame your research is good, but then it's very big. It's very big. So I also wonder what happens to all the site plans or the site models that these people use, and how is it recycled if we are going to actually produce a culture of recycling and not waste of material and things like that. You could limit it to the study identifying how much waste is being stored in the is being used in the architecture schools alone. Several schools, maybe three schools or something like that. And then what do they do? Do they have a storage place where the other students then can come in and reuse this into their own different kinds of models and things like that? Then that would be a very clear statement to the educationist as well as to the administrator to model after. You could also look at art schools, those that actually use a lot of these materials. I mean, the point I'm saying is that if you make the scope smaller, then it would be more meaningful to contribute as well as to control. That's my comment.
Understood. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prof. Very good comment. Mr. Fu and I think Mr. Munze, just to remind both of you, you haven't present your proposal defense. I think you should fill in the forms, and I think you have to do that. I mean, both of you now in the third semester. Second semester. Third is supposed to be a submission time lah. Yeah, it's supposed to be a submission time. So I think please fill in the form for the proposal defense. I saw your research is going quite well, and I think it's time for you to do the right things and actually to finish up everything. Yeah? Unless you want to convert, yeah, you want to convert into PhD. Unless then that's another story. I think we have to set up another committees for doing that process. It is yours. I mean, that's your decision on that. Dr. Sumari, you have any questions? Maybe.
Yes, since this is already the third semester for Mr. Fu, I don't want to touch more because you already left. You know, normally we do master for two years, but you want to do it 3 years, so I don't want to touch more since you are halfway on. Actually, I also would like you to reduce because it seems like your topic is too broad when you are talking about recycled things. So you have to focus on one, maybe material, plastic or paper or timber or whatnot, or else it become a dumping area at UCSI and UM. So that's why Dr. Tajuddin is right about that. No, reduce your focus, but somehow you are halfway. Then maybe you can discuss with supervisor how to make it focus, because or else you are like a recycling center later on. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Not much.
Okay. Thank you very much for Dr. Su, Prof. Tajuddin for the comments. I think Mr. Fu can now to start writing your thesis and submitting as soon as possible. We would like to see you graduating as soon as possible. Okay, I would like to call Mr. Munze for the next presenter. Please, Mr. Munze, the time is yours.
All right, hopefully everyone can see my slide. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
All right, to Prof. Nangkula, Prof. Tajuddin, and all these participants join this seminar. So, Assalamualaikum, I'm Munzir. My main supervisor is Dr. Aina, and co-supervisor is Prof. Taisaf. So, the main topics that I'm that I'm research on is about MOS, and then specifically about open space at the MOS. All right. I just like to share this some articles from Bernama and it's written and it's been stated and quoted by Majlis Agama Islam in Kelantan and some of the Terengganu as well. Beside, I'm looking this as my first initial things for me to develop into this open space of MOS. So basically, open space of MOS can be a multifunctional space and can also be a temporary space for all the community surrounding of the MOS. All right, then I keep on looking to some of the MOS in Malaysia, and then beside, as a Muslim, regularly go to masjid at least once a week for Friday prayers. I'm looking into this open space is not only becoming a very designated space, as it can be as well temporary, and we can generate some social inclusion, and at the same time can be economically generator for the people surrounding as well. So I think these two slides that I mentioned is basically guiding on how I see open space and can be a potential towards the community and towards the people surrounding of the MOS. So for today's, I just would like to share about all my research data developments, how from one title, and I go through some progress, and I go with supervisor, with Dr. Aina, and we are discussing, and we did some changes on the topic and some of this overview of it. Problem statement, research objective, question, limitation and scope of my research, and some of initial for about my literature review. And I will share a bit on my methodology, propose on the case studies, and last about my reference. All right, a bit introductions about MOS. The MOS designs become more close building, specifically for commercial MOS. All right, if we compare with traditional MOS, it's rather than become urban center and public space and serving of their life. This research aim basically to research on impact on the use of the MOS open space to the surrounding community, more specifically towards the Muslim and non-Muslim community. So this finding probably, hopefully, will allow for a better understanding regarding the most role in the community. So this is, I can per se like my title developments. For first, I will look into the humanitarian because I will start off with the vaccine center and some place I see that they have a space or they designated a space for all the homeless as well. And that's why I'm started with humanitarians, and I will look into several mosques, and I start to be more specific on how this open space can be impact towards the community surrounding of the mosque. So I look into the factor of the usage for my second title, and the third title I go into this how this impact most open space to the local community. All right, so a little bit overview about my research. Is coached by Dr. Prof. Tajuddin himself in his book on the rethinking Islamic architecture. Stated about the mosque is symbolic of a key important Islamic architecture and built environment. So meaning I look into this towards mosque have to be a community place for the people, and I look into the some information or data regarding percentage as well from Jakim regarding how many mosques been registered in Malaysia and the population or percentage of Muslim in Malaysia as well. Then a little bit another research area or maybe literary review that I'm looking into is about the multicultural. So I did have some I put some quotes from Mr. Zahari about the multicultural country, all right? And there is Omer about the original concept of the mosque, and it will not just serve as religious spiritual place, but it contribute to the community togetherness. So basically, this overview or maybe main literature review that I'm reading. All right. I start off with the problem statement or the issue. So I'm doing some article readings and some of the thesis readings. This is a problem statement that I come up. All right, it's coming from Dr. Nordiana Nazruddin's. All right, I cite from Makbul Farhad. This day, it unfortunately appear that most, particularly those in city, have lost their social characteristics. So we're talking about the characteristic of the main function of the space. Professor Tajuddin, in his book about the mosque as a community development center, 1998 as well, I can sum up that stated that the decline in the roles and function of mosque has been because of lack appreciation for the historic contemporary context of the mosque itself. So talking about the context and talking about the lacking of integration between the mosque and the local community. And then I'll get some issues as well from Dr. Muhammad Roslan, all right, about Malaysia is unique state, diversity. So he's talking about the multicultural in Malaysia. And the last one is talk about the multicultural as well from Moshidi Sirat Haji Abdullah. All right, so when you go back to the from that research problem statement on the issues, so I form a research question. My research question 1 is about how the open space of the mosque being used by the local community. All right. Second, we look into the program activities provided the mosque that help the interaction between multicultural community. And the third, I'm looking into this bazaar and street. Could it be social generator or multicultural use for the mosque open space? For my research objective is to investigate the extent to which most open space are used as functional space and impact to the local community, to examine the view of most manager, Muslim and non-Muslim community regarding activities, interaction with most open space, and last is to examine bazaar and street stall activities toward most open space. So the limitation and scope research area, I categorize it in 3. First one is about multicultural community, which is a Muslim and non-Muslim. There's mosque management, which is the manager or mosque chairman or JK, something like that. And last, it might be authority from the Jabatan Kementerian Islam. The most typology I'm looking into district most, sub-district or community most, basically is more integrated to the community. It's not been typo or categorize it as the tourist most, but it's more nearer contact to the neighborhoods, all right? Most of the and the third one is mostly I'm looking into Klang Valley, Kuala Lumpur, because more likely have a higher populations and diverse user from different ethnic and religious background. This is my key terms of research, basically about the most open space. I did some research and reading that's a big courtyard, building characteristics. So this is all the things most probably I will look into it. Second, about multicultural user or the community. And the third about the bazaar and street space activities. Initially for literature review, I do some, this is might be, I categorize or maybe teams, make it teams into 3 teams, and there's a sub-themes or subtopic under it. So the first one may be a most and the community itself. So I'm going to have some literature review in terms of origin of the most within the history of Islam. And I'm looking into the most in Malaysia, so I look into some of the guideline as well, typology of guideline and type from the planning and rural department Malaysia. And last will be traditional and contemporary function. So this is I want to look into the functional from traditional and contemporary function of most, the comparison between these two. And second theme I'm looking into multicultural community perspective. So literature review most probably looking into the conception of multicultural community in Malaysia. And the third theme is about most of open space and bazaar. So going to have some literature review on the bazaar in the architecture, the role of bazaar, most and open space in the Malaysia context. Towards the reading, so this is what some things or some information that I get, especially from the planning guideline for Muslim place worship from Department of Urban and Rural Planning Malaysia. So the typology from national, most, state, district. So this is to help me in terms of to find the right most that related towards the community use. And the second here, I've got it from the book from it's stated the title of the book is The Prophet Muhammad and Urbanization of Madinah. So I kind of summarize it from the traditional and contemporary, what are the traditional most functional before and the current contemporary most, so that you can see the
Mr. Mose, you have 1
Yes.
minute, yeah?
All right, okay, sorry. Okay, so we go to the methodology. So this is the methodology. Starting with identification of issues and then the development of methodology, primary data collection, maybe using the method of systematic observation, group interviews, discussions, and maybe some social media. And the case study observation, I look into the state or district or sub-district most, and assuming the feasibility of the methods, which is going to observe and be on the site. And then the data collection basically on the observations and then getting data from interviews and all this from the discussion. So this is my initial planning for my methodology process, and I did some proposed or thesis for my structure thesis. Chapter 1 with the introductions, chapter 2 literary review, and then I'm going to the theoretical framework, research methodology, and starting with most observation and media. Chapter 6 will be focused on the group discussion, and last maybe the highlighted or maybe the conclusions of my research finding. This is I also find some reference that method that been used before, because of all the previous scholar already have a lot of ways, or they already have the methodology for the most research. So I look at this is all this that I study, and I can say that I refer to for my methodology methods. And for the case study, after I go through just initial or just a simple visit and go there, and then I look into the algorithm Pinggiran Taman Tun Dr. Ismail. All right, because I think it's quite interesting to look into this because it started only with surau, and it start to expand and become a masjid. All right, and next we look into Masjid Salam Puchong Perdana. This is known as floating mosque in Puchong, and actually there is open space that being used daily for the stall, all right, for temporary stall for the local community there. And this is the other district level of mosque, you see Masjid Umar in Bukit Damansara, and because this is a different a little bit in terms of the open space, because of the place that they are using it for the bazaar and for the stall. Basically is a bit not in the compound of masjid, but nearby of this masjid, but it's still under compound of masjid, but it's just at the car park area. It's an open space on this masjid. Alright, so next I think the references that I refer to for my most research or my topic, basically in the impact of open space towards the local community. I think that's it. Thank you for this opportunity and thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Munze, for the presentation. Very interesting presentation. The topic is also very interesting. I have some comments actually, but I would like to open to the participant first. Maybe anyone who want to give a comment? I open to anyone.
Okay.
Dr. Su, please.
Okay, I know that this is the area of the prostage. Prostage, let me talk lah. You can just supervise later. Muhammad Munzir, this is your master thesis, am I right? Mr. Munzir? Dengar tak? Mr. Munzir? Are you there? Mana? Hilang Oh yeah. Coming back.
Rasa tak keluar tu.
Oh, tak keluar. Okay, yeah, okay. Mr. Muhammad Munzir, thank you very much for your presentation. It's very interesting. I know this is your master. Regardless how semester is it, it seems like you are providing the PhD proposal. So now you have to if you want to finish early, then you have to scope down your work, because it is good study, because we know that the issues. First of all, when you introduce the topic, you must find out the issue. That's why when you present the problem statement is just a statement. It's not your statement. So you have to put it there. What is the gap that you want to do? And then again, when you say that the community space, maybe you can focus the community alone. Don't compare to the big mosque or sub-district mosque, or else it will be very broad. Unless you want to compare for PhD, it's okay, I think. But for your case, for the master, maybe you have to focus community. Really look into the community like a taman-taman, and then maybe 2 or 3 days will enough for you to compare. If you compare with a different size of the mosque, then it might be different consequences of your study. So try to look into that more specific lah. Okay, this is my suggestion lah. If you want to finish your master, or else it will be very long. I know that there are plenty of studies about mosque architecture, but now you want to focus on the community space. Then focus on the really community mosque rather than you go to the big mosque, because like Ibnu kata yang tadi Sayyidina Abu Bakar tu dekat Damansara kan, it might be different from the one that you compare to the mosque in Puchong, because the community are different. So you have to look into when you compare, you must have the apple to apple, not apple to strawberry. It will be different the way that they run the facilities there. That will be good, and then that will be the most contribution that you can give back to the community. Okay, I think you start with I think it's a very interesting. I'm really looking forward to see this thesis to the end. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Su. I think that's a very good comment and valid comments lah. Any other comments from any other audience? Anyone want to give a comment?
I could add something here.
Yes, Mr. Khairul, please.
Congrats to Munzir, because the way how you come up with the issue from the what we call news, and then you come up with the problem statement. That's how we write problem statement to the other presenter. It's like you should have a problem and then with reference, and should sounds like a problem. That's one thing. And then as what our guest told us just now, that you should focus apple to apple, and I just agree with it. Okay, so I have written some of the comments in the chat box, so please refer that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Khairul, and also thank you very much for your comments in the chat box. I think we can refer that further. Okay, I think our time is up. We need to go up to the next presenter. I would like to call upon Wei Kisi for the presentation. Okay, the time is yours.
Okay, I'm gonna share you guys with my sliders.
Can you share the screen?
Yeah. So can you see my sliders now?
Yes, we can see your screen, but not your slide yet. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. Today I'm gonna share with you the progress of my PhD research. The topic of my research is strategical thinking on the preservation and reconstruction of China's urban industrial heritage in the post-industrial era. And my presentation today is mainly about my first part. It has 6 parts, including background study, research question, methodology, literature review, case studies, significance, and summary. So we are going to starting with the background study. According to Demi Allah, human society can be divided into 3 stages based on the degree of industrialization, and we are in the post-industrial society now. Well, since we are in the post-industrial society, I'm going to show some city views of different provinces in China in the different stages. And my study is mainly focused on the urban area. So I chose these 3 cities to show the combination in China. We can see the first place is the Dongbei province. We can see China is agricultural country. In the pre-industrial society, people mainly living by farming, and in the industrial society, the city view is just like any other countries. The factories starting to show up, and in the post-industrial society, we can see some landmarks appears. Factories in urban area began to be abandoned. This is like a commonality in Shanghai. We can see people in Shanghai in the pre-industrial society, because the Shanghai is near the sea, and they are mainly living by fishing, and the other stages of society is the same.
Right.
Also, we can see in the Guangdong province. So we can see we are in the post industrial society. The urban area starting to be sorry. The urban area starting to extend, and the factories in that area starting to be abandoned. So but this industrial heritage is a part of the industrial civilization, and it contains, we can see from these pictures, this heritage has some threats now, and it also has some opportunities. The threats mainly including the regional industrial decline and the economy downturn, and the waste of resources. And the opportunities mainly about the value it has in different levels, like historic and cultural value, and economic value, and science and technological value, and the art value. We can so how to deal with this heritage is an inevitable problem. So my research is based on these problems, and here comes my research. Here comes the title of my research. Well, the next part is the methodology. I'm gonna mainly use the qualitative research method, including literature review. It conducts on the urban renewal movement and the industrial architecture heritage in the background of the post-industrial era. It aims to understand the basic orientation of industrial architecture heritage management and to evaluate the value of both material and immaterial aspects of the industrial architecture heritage, so as to drive a design strategy for the protection and reuse of industrial architecture heritage. And the next part is case studies. It mainly conducts a system analysis of the different methods of preservation and reconstruction of industrial architectural heritage between Western countries and China. To propose is to summarize the achievement and experiments of different participants and methods, and to find out the main problem in the field in China at this stage, so as to provide us with a practical basis for future design strategy. And for the literature review part, I'm going to look at in the urban renewal movement. It takes part in the different countries, and we can see from this country it has a commonality that we want to solve this problem. We need to redesign and reconstruction. That will be a more reasonable solution. And in the post-industrial society, in the urban area, urban renewal movements had some threats and opportunities. True threats is mostly the change of industrial structure and the expansion of urban land. And the opportunity is the evaluation of urban renewal policy and the new type of the urban renewal method. We can see the evaluation of the policy in China. I draw this timeline of the policy changes. New policy comes up, and with the time, the focus of the policy has changed. We can see the policy continue to open up, and urban renewal has risen to the level of national level. Urban renewal policy has gradually evolved from the reconstruction of physical space to complete of functions. And the central government enhancement the concept of urban renewal, and a number of actions has been issued to guide the transformation of local development methods. China's urban renewal mode has transformed from large-scale demolition to comprehensive consolidation, and the state and the local governments has continued to propose advanced policy. And the new type of urban renewal has three different characters: the demolition and reconstruction, reconstruction and redesign, and comprehensive renovation. We can see it has become more and more comprehensive and more open up. We have more rooms to do with the reconstruction in China. And about the industrial architecture heritage itself, I did some data collection first. I draw this figure about the location and the number in different.
Wait, you have 1 more minute.
Okay, in different parts in China, and we can see it from the map. And I calculated the different kind of industrial buildings, like heavy industrial building, and that is the character, and the light industrial buildings. And that's the space type and the structure type and some special characters of it. Besides the heavy industrial and the light industrial, there are other buildings like a warehouse, like a space for transportation and a workshop, and it has its own characters. So it besides the characters, it has different value, like historic and culture and scientific and technology. I said this like before. The next part is going to be a case study. I made a list of the case I'm going to look at in. The significance of my research is going to be 4 different aspects, like in architecture, in urban culture, in social resources and economic and in the urban landscape. And today I just drew a brief introduction about chapter 1, like in this 8 parts. That's it. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentations. I think even though I think some of you, I'm the supervisor for some of the students, but I think it was I haven't gone through your. This is the first time I saw the topics. So I think in the future we have to discuss further. I think my main task, if I'll be to your supervisor, to help you to finish as soon as possible, because I'm quite worried because some of the topic was quite broad, and I think if you want to carry on with the things, it will require you more times to finish. So my job is to help you to finish ASAP, as soon as possible. Yeah? So I think we have to discuss on how to focus or maybe to scope down your research, etc. Okay. Any question from the panels here? Is Prof. Tajudin still here? Oh, he's still here, but he might not be around. So
yes,
any comment, Prof?
It's the industrial heritage.
Yeah, it's about industrial heritage.
What is it that you wish to do? Are you going to identify all of these sites and then decide which can be possibly be renovated or be used, or this? So I'm still unclear as to what is the point of the whole thesis in terms of this thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna analyze the recent cases to find out like a guideline for the rest industrial heritage in China, how to do the reconstruction and how to do the preservation about it.
Okay, so that means you'll be looking at other case studies like Tate Museum and things like that. What justifies them to be used in what way, and then build this framework and then use that framework in order to evaluate these other sites in terms of its possibilities. Is that the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any other comment, Dr. Su, maybe?
Yes.
I think conservation is your field, Dr. Su.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wei Kisi, about the presentation. It's very interesting. Somehow it's very broad. But I have to remind you, for the PhD, normally we are looking at the theoretical framework. This is very important for PhD study. So meaning that you have to focus and you have to be digging all the theory behind on those conservation activities, conservation theories. Then you can proceed, or else your PhD don't have any substance. So in this case, maybe you have to dig up more to come up with theoretical framework, maybe about the conservation and the urban renewal, urban landscape and social economy. That has to be composed to come out with your theoretical framework on what how you want to proceed further. And then again, you said that because I saw you have presented a lot of building, whether you want to identify or whether you want to classify, then you have to justify. Is there any policy, existing policy in China about the conservation of this industrial building or not? If there, what are the weaknesses? What are the best? You have to discuss that. You not just simply propose. Well, maybe they already have. Maybe they have something that maybe you don't know. Now about this conservation activities happen in that maybe in district or in that country. I know that China has very broad. Then you have to focus in which area that you want to do. You cannot do the whole China. It will be very broad for you to revise all the policies. So reduce your scopes, and then what is your aim actually?
Okay, so I need to reduce my research, focus on one area in China.
Yeah, of course. You're not going to do 1,000 of building. Maybe you want to do it in Shanghai alone, or maybe in Beijing alone. Then it's already plenty for you. And then again, you must search whether there is an existing policy about conservation of this building or not. Then you can compare, and then you see whether they have done or not. Then you can come up with a new suggestion. Okay.
Okay.
That's how this theoretical framework will help you out. on justify your case. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Su, for the comments, also for Tajuddin. I think we move. Thank you very much also, Wei for the presentation. Very interesting topic you're presenting there. Okay, we go to the next presenter. I would like to invite Ma Xiaoting to present his research or maybe his papers here. Please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, good noon, everyone. Now I will present my research proposal. My name is Ma Xiaoting. The topic of my research is research on the conservation and utilization of historical and cultural heritage in Shanxi province. So basically, here is the index of my presentation today. Historical and cultural heritage of building is well inherited by the ancestor, which full of the culture and historical value. However, there is a lot of ancient buildings have been overlooked in the province and the cultural relics have been destroyed. So it is very important to strengthen the policy in the protection of cultural heritage to preserve the historical and cultural building. The name of Shanxi refers to the word of Jing in Chinese. It is the provincial capital of Taiyuan and it is located in the north of China. Chinese culture has a long history of buildings which full of historical and cultural heritage, which up to 5,000 years. The package in China. Next, I will discuss about the significance in conducting this research, the preservation of the culture and historical assets and sites is an approach that has a long history and is well established and will increase the promotion of our province. And also, the historical and cultural heritage will attract tourists in and stimulate the economic in the province. This study wishes to study the effect of the culture and historical heritage in the Shanxi province and also the effect of the heritage in the development, growth, and building of will be examined. There will be 4 research questions in this study. The first is, what is the relationship between the historical and cultural heritage of the province and the tourist retention? The second one is, what is the model that is suitable to use the historical and cultural heritage for the stringy building? The third one is, what is the relationship between the problems in the cultural heritage protection in Shanxi and the economic growth in the province? And the last one is, what's the effect of the historical heritage of the building in the province in cultural revitalization? Okay, and next. There will be 4 research objectives in this study too. The first is to identify the relationship between the historical and cultural heritage of the province and the tourist retention, clarify the basic pattern of the province's historical and cultural heritage in order to implement it in the stringy building, identify the relationship between the problems in the cultural heritage protection in Shanxi and the economic growth in the province. And the last one is to identify the effect of the historical heritage of the building in the province in cultural revitalization. Okay, coming to the literature review of this research. According to the research, the urban cultural heritage structures contain considerable historical importance for both the local community and the global community as a whole. Basically, the past research regarding the cultural heritage theory emphasizes in the protection of historical buildings the concept of international heritage protections, has continued to develop, and new types of heritage research and protection such as culture landscapes and cultural routes have emerged. On the other hand, the connection between cultural heritage and the economic growth of the country has been widely conducted in past research. There has been a recent uptake in the amount of focus placed on the ways in which cultural heritage and cultural heritage sites can contribute to advancement of sustainable and economic development. This diagram has shown the development of the cultural and historical heritage theory in the past few decades until recently. Now, I will talk about the research methodology in this study. There is a comprehensive description on the design of research procedures for sampling constructs and measurements and techniques used for data analysis. Mixed method research method will be used in this study. Distribution the questionnaire to the participants and analyze the data collected. The relationship between the culture and the historical heritage and the tourist retention will be examined. Grounded theory and the field research method in the qualitative research method will be used in this study too. The special distribution pattern of historical and cultural heritage in Shanxi province will be clearly defined. Development and the utilization of research in historical and cultural heritage, draw research conclusions, and corresponding and implementation measures by using the mixed method research methodology. Population involved in this study is representing the tourists in the province and the residents in the province. A stratified sampling method will be used in order to divide the tourist population into different subgroups and examine the behavior of the tourist towards the culture and historical heritage. And these are references. And these are expanding findings. That's all from me. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Okay, Mao, thank you very much for the presentation. A very broad topics. Yeah? I think we have to discuss further on the detailing on that. Dr. Su, any comment?
Yeah, very interesting topic, and then this is more focused in terms of the site, because we are talking about the Sanji. Okay, now it's Sanji. Now you have to focus on the historical culture because you are talking about the cultural relics, and then suddenly you go broad. Where is your cultural relic? Now it's like losing your cultural relic in Sanji. Maybe you have to on the object that you want to do. And then again, the problem statement is not there, not very study. Is it the purpose of the tourism for the economic growth or what? This has to be strengthened because you have to keep talking about the economic growth. How this cultural heritage could give some economic boom to Sanji. And then again about the mixed method. When we're talking about mixed method, it's not the diagram that you have presented. We are talking about the qualitative and quantitative method. Because you're also using the grounded theory. Grounded theory is a qualitative. Okay, so that one maybe you have to rediagram back. What is qualitative? What is quantitative? Because when you say mixed method, it requires triangulation. Later on, you will do that. And then again, you have also put a little bit of theoretical framework. Then that's good for you, but it need to be strengthened because I don't see that the strength in your theory yet. For the PhD, I'm really looking the theory behind your study. Okay. But the focus must be there because along the way you lost your relics, cultural relic, which has to be more. You have to identify how many instansi, whether they are under UNESCO listed or not. What is the current situation? Then you can proceed with the issues there. Okay. What semester are you now?
Okay, yeah.
What semester are you now? In semester what are you studying at this moment?
Yeah. Second.
Yeah, what? Second.
Yeah.
Okay, still not too late for you to revise your, to improve your your study. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Su, for the comment.
Okay.
I think it's a valid comment. I think we will discuss further on that matter. Okay. I think I will move to the next presenter. Mr. Tan Han Leong is here already. Please, Mr. Tan, the time is yours.
All right. Okay. Hi everyone. Hi to all the guest panels and also all the participants. Hopefully all of you can see my slides. So today I will be sharing with all of you some of my ongoing research for PhD in architecture. So my topic is mainly on the education side, more to the education field. So this is the topic of my research is framework for sustainability interior architectural education for private architecture institutions in Malaysia. So it involves creating framework mainly for this sustainable education, specifically for interior architectural education in Malaysia here. So this is a brief introduction of what is this research about. So I think most of us already familiar with these sustainable development goals, especially in UCSI, where we have already been exposed a lot in various medium. So actually these SDG goals has already brought up a lot of opportunities for challenges all around the world, not forgetting architecture and interior architecture, particularly on the built environment industry. So it actually provides opportunities and also a chance to for this to widen up the sustainability resolutions in this built environment. So not only that, it is also included the education industry as well. So as all of the professional professions, each one of the professionals started off through education. So it is very important in order for the students to have essential knowledge and also awareness of this sustainability education through their studies. As these interior architecture educations plays a very important role to achieve this objective. Why? Because design education should be redirected to be an ethical designers or a designer that think about how to solve or how to deliver these environmental problems here. So following some of the quotes that I extracted out from my literature review, like for example here from the Open House International in 2016, that's one of the very important quotes stating that the current condition of this unsustainable activity towards a process of improvement and increased quality. And also more of a recent one, which is on the pedagogy of architectural education of sustainability in Malaysia, also mentioned that students to apply sustainable design approaches in their studio projects. Moving on, by this researcher Abdul Malik Abdul Rahman, he also stated that there should be a thorough awareness throughout the practicing and also academic architects as to the seriousness of having green buildings as the next direction of the Malaysian buildings here. And also more recent one last year by Jordis Martinez Ventura, he also mentioned that the introduction of sustainable development in the education of future architects, it is what fundamental to understand what is being done and what could be improved. Similarly, last year during this IAEC conference, is a keynote speech by this Datuk Sri Haji Fadilah Yusof, Senior Minister of Works in Malaysia. He stated that adopting sustainable design goals in education and practice has become pertinent for architectural education. And last but not least, also by this Mahmoud Ali, he also stated that there's the need to introduce the issue of sustainability into the interior design curriculum critically become very important. So based on all these quotes and all this background, it actually drives to the question of these four main aspects, which is the first one: what are the elements of pedagogy approaches, including teaching and learning for the framework of sustainability interior architectural education for private architecture institution in Malaysia? And moving on to the second research question, which falls in the aspect of what are the challenging factors of this framework for this sustainability interior architectural education here. And moving on to the third one, what are the key result areas of the framework for this interior architectural education. And last but not least is how can the framework of sustainability, interior architectural education could be improved in the private architectural institution in Malaysia. So my research question actually are very specified on this interior architectural education, and generally it just involved on the private institution in Malaysia only. And the research question over there, it actually, I'm so sorry about that. It's from, there are four research questions over there. It actually brought to brings to the aim and objective. So the main aim of this study, it is actually to develop the framework of sustainability interior architectural education for private architectural institutions in Malaysia, whereby these expected findings can actually highlight on what are the specific criteria or the elements in this sustainability interior architectural education across these private architectural institutions in Malaysia. So these could be actually help to be as a guidelines for the future studies on how to develop a more comprehensive master plan for this sustainability interior architectural education. And probably this could be also be applied throughout the architectural education as well. And my fourth objective, which is also very related to the research questions, which is the first one, which is to identify the elements of pedagogy approaches, including the teaching and learning for the framework. The second objective is to identify the challenging factors of the framework. The third objective is to investigate the key result areas of the framework. And last but not least, which is to propose a framework of sustainability education, interior architectural education for private architectural institution in Malaysia. So these are the four main objectives of this study. And moving on to the research scope here, it actually focuses on one dimension, which is only on the education criteria, as this is a very important factor, important method in changing the society towards a little bit more of a betterment and to achieve more sustainable development. So the scope of this study involved on the interior architecture education as the main subject, and also the need to involve this recognized interior architectural degree program in Malaysia. Definitely it is unavoidable. So based on the PAM website, there are actually 7 recognized programs. And one important factor also is that some institutions that their university status are still considered here. So this is the research scope. And the significance of this study is that the first significant study is that because this higher education in elements of pedagogy in teaching and learning of sustainability interior architecture education, it actually can promote and increase awareness of this sustainability consideration to be implemented in their architectural curriculum. And secondly is that this study also aims to offer a conceptual framework that could be used to probably throughout architectural education in Malaysia in private architecture institutions. And last but not least is also provide an opportunity to evaluate Malaysian architecture private institution. And this is also creates an opportunity for all of us to think, to interconnected thinking, to answer the question, where are we currently, on how do we address these sustainability considerations. And last but not least, the conclusion is whereby all the interior architecture programs across Malaysia must step up their responsibility to teach the students and the importance of sustainability and sustainable design. Because this education, it will be the most vital part of sustainability, and that will develop the standard and guidelines in the next evolutionary step in interior design. Although this step is very difficult, very daunting, but this is what a professional interior design should do to have a betterment of the sustainable planet. Yeah, so that's all. Just next. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Tan Han Leong. Your presentation just in time. A very interesting topic is more on the terms of sustainable interior design was not very clear for me lah. Maybe other panel can be understand that better. For me, that one is need to be refined very clearly. What are you going to develop in the curriculum, or you going to develop the systems or the attitude, or you want to develop other things? I think that will need to be specified. Then you can move further in a more detailed manner. Okay, any comment from the participants here? Dr. Taki, you want to comment something? Dr. Su, have you first?
Can I
Yes,
give some
you want to make? You can.
Taki
You want
first?
to say something? Taki, you can say first. This is our last presenter, yeah.
Just regarding the methodology, did the presenter has shown any slide regarding the methodology, because it's basically it's the most important thing after.
Oh, sorry, I actually put it under the research scope, where I forgot to mention that this actually involved on a little bit of a mixed research method, whereby it involved qualitative and the quantitative research, whereby it involved questionnaires and also a little bit of a document analysis on the curriculum of all these private institutions in Malaysia here.
Yeah, but in more detail, what about the data analysis? Okay, data collection, you said it's through mixed research method. First of all, you need to argue and bring reasons in detail why you wanted to make it mixed. Why not just quantitative? Why not just qualitative? And after that, there is tools, right? Under each research approach. Why survey? Why interview? Why focus group? All these you need to answer the why question. Basically, using research books like the one of I've forgotten his name, but there is some authors very known in doing designing or how to design your research. Because the research, in the end of the research methodology, is like the engine of or how you will pursue your research. So things, they have to be very detailed. And also, yeah, I forgot actually the second point, but it's also related to the method, because now we couldn't see the detail of the method. We couldn't see the why question. Why is this? Why is this? Yeah, I think it's this is my comment.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Taki. Dr. Alan, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think overall it is a very good topic, and thanks to Brendan for a very clear presentation. I just want to add a little bit of a suggestion instead of actually comments. Maybe you can think of, because when we talk about education in interior design, architecture, interior design, and you talk about sustainability, how do you include that in the syllabus and curriculum, right? I think if you would like to broaden PhD contribution to the educational field in sustainability, you might also add another part of it, which is about the industrial sustainability practice. You don't have to be expert in both. I mean, because you're talking about education, I know. But if you can conclude or compile some of the lacking part that has to be transferred into the education field, because education, eventually you train people to go into the industry. So if you can fill a little bit of gap of that, that would be an additional contribution. That can be one of the chapter of your thesis finally, which is a great contribution for me. You know, that is always being missing or lacking off when people talk about education, only education. When people do industry, only industry. So the gap is there. For me, the gap is there. So I encourage you to look into that. So when you talk about methodology and all that, you can include that as well. Right? Thanks. So that chapter actually is already good enough to, you know, to publish one paper by yourself. Yeah. Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Brendan.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alan. Dr. Su? Sorry, your raised hand first. Actually.
It's okay. Because thank you very much. A very interesting presentation. Tan, you are challenging the current syllabus from the private school. What year are you now? What semester are you now?
Semester 3.
Semester 3. Is it for your master study or PhD?
PhD.
PhD, okay. So I want to know, since you have done the seven private school that offer interior design, so far I believe that you have tabulate or analyzed what's the issue among these seven schools that you found. Have you found out any things from there right now?
Actually, I haven't started to have a data collection yet.
I see, because this is very important. When you say seven, you have to study all the synopsis of the syllabus. What are the content from each university, and then how many hours, and then you have to compose, and then from there that you have to develop your questionnaire that you can pass to the maybe the practitioner to see the lacking, that the gap that you found that. So I thought that you have started that. So this is the first stage that you have to do. First you find the issues. Okay, you have to justify why private school, not the public school, also has to be justified. Okay, because I also have the similar cases for my student that doing the history. So why they choose the private school or why they choose the public school, that you have to establish, and then they have to analyze all the syllabus being presented of each school. What are their strengths? The most important thing, what are their strengths, what are their content, whether they have touched the sustainable issue or not. If not, then you will identify which school is not presenting that. From there, then you analyze what are the sustainable issue or content that you want to. You can continue. Again, one of the professors said, but the unclear of your methodology is very important. It could be qualitative alone, because I know that you are dealing with people after this. You are not going for the layman, you are going to the expert to ask all this, because they will compare the output that they get from the student that working at their place. This is the thing. So you might not doing the survey for the normal people. You might go straight to the expert, and then validation also from the expert in interior design. Okay, this must be clear because you are PhD level, and then you will come up with one proposal or one guideline for to adopt by this school. Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting. You are challenging our current syllabus. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. This is your time to do that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Su. I think for student information, I think we have quite numbers of good panel here. So Associate Professor Dr. Sumarni Ismail is from UPM. I associate here we have Assistant Professor Baizura Hanim, we have Assistant Professor Dr. Alan, we have Dr. here, Prof. Tajuddin is all here, and we also have some guests. Some I know the name from Indonesia is also joining our meeting today. Yeah, I think they are joining to see your progress. Also, lecturers also here. Yeah, Mr. Doni is here from Podomoro University also. I think just to close our session today, I put a note in the chat box. Yeah? If you read our chat box, you can see there. I put 5 important notes there, based on the presentation just now. Number 1 is that I think most of you must start with the issues, the real problem. If you don't have any problem, then you have to create the problem. Yeah? Otherwise, your thesis will be meaningless lah. Because there's no point doing research without starting it from the problem. And you have to start ensuring that the problem is specific and the problem should be very clear lah, from your side. Yeah? So then please discuss with your supervisor if you are still not sure about the issues that you want to tackle on that, because the problem and the issue will define the direction of your thesis. Yeah? The second one is that there should be a clear connection between your issues, problem statement, objective, and methodology. They are the there are 4 stages, yeah, in the research that you have to be very clear. So if you cannot read it accordingly, I mean from your issues up to the methodologies, you will have problems lah, how to direct your thesis after that. The third one, this is a common problem among the PhD or master students, is that you'll be they call it flooded. Yeah? You'll be flooded with lots of information. Yeah? You receive a lot of info that interests you somehow. So you have to be very focused and scope down your research. Yeah, it's okay to have some other information, some other updated that you found. It's okay for that, but of course you have to be very specific and very careful in managing the time of your studies. I think that's very important. Otherwise, unless you have planned to finish in 8 years or 7 years, that's another story lah. But I don't think you want to have that. You want to finish as soon as possible. So it's very important that you scope down and focus during your studies, so that you can actually plan your time accordingly. The number 4 is that you need to understand this is also very important, because I saw some of the presentation, they don't have any clear pictures or the similar research. Yeah. So normally the question will be your research scenarios lah. What is your research scenarios in this field, in your field? I mean, when you did your research, of course other people are doing the similar research with that. You must be very aware of that. Of course you cannot cover the whole world research, but at least you know some of the important research related with that. Yeah. The last one, which is also very important, is that you have to start writing. Yeah, I think Mr. Doni here, Mr. Doni is one of my PhD student, yeah, in other university. I think he has finished his chapter 2 and 3. Yeah. Mr. Doni is about to finish that. So I think now he is in the second semester. So if you are in the third semester, you should be able to finish at least your chapter 2 and 3. That one need to be very clear. So start writing, because writing is not easy. I'm telling you, even a senior academicians like me or Prof. Tajuddin or other like Dr. Su, it takes some time to write. To write is not easy. So that's why from the beginning, it's good if you can start writing up and actually learning about that. Okay, I think that's all for me. Just that Arista, before we close the session, maybe all of you can open up your camera. Maybe we can have your photo session on that. Yeah, Arista, the session, the floor is yours.
Okay. Are we going to have the Okay. Also, I'm closing the program now. Thank you for all for attending today, and thank you to all of our speakers today. And this conclude our program today. And we have heard some of the interesting topic and discussion from the candidates. And we're looking forward to the next program. And I can see how the candidates analyze and tabulate the data. So we're looking forward to the next program and hope to see you guys again. Stay safe. Thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, I'm taking your pictures now. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, once more, yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much for all the participants, and also hopefully I still have the recorder of this presentation. Any things? Dr. Su, you want to say something, Dr. Su?
Hello, can you see me?
Yes, you want to say something?
Yeah, very interesting presentation. And then of course, for those comments, don't take it at heart, because sometimes you are still at early stage. For those who are at the third semester, in fourth semester, meaning that you have to speed up your presentation. I'm looking for more contents for the thesis, because I have been through a lot of thesis. So I want your thesis to be successful. That's all. The comment doesn't mean to kill you. Please take it positively and discuss with supervisor what is the best direction for you to finish on time. Okay, all the best to you all. See you again. Hopefully Dr. Nang will call me again. At least I want to see the progress for each of you. I don't mind. I'm very happy to see that, to see your progress.
Okay, that's true. And I hope you are happy to be our external later on.
Yes, okay, never mind.
Okay, that's true. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. See you again. I think we have another talks at 3 p.m. Yeah, I think I share you the link already. I think it's a good discussion, and I believe all of you can always join and comment it there. Okay, again, thank you very much for making this thing happen. And please, I remind you again, don't forget to finish up your research papers. Yeah, your research papers, and please follow the exact format and submit it to Joe, yeah, to Yizao Joe, to Jojo. Email him. Please follow exactly the format that I given to you. Yeah, so at the same time, because I want to, as requested by Prof. Tajudin, also some of your supervisor, I have to give them the copies of your papers so that they can do a kind of progress report assessment lah for you. Otherwise, you won't have the assessment lah because of that. Please submit as soon as possible, and please help Joe to finish that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. See you again in the future. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.